Charcuterie, the board game. This is a game with a theme that is very dear to me. I love charcuterie plates. When I go out for dinner with my wife, I would often have the charcuterie plate as my main dish rather than as an appetizer. And I saw a game about this really awesome topic being demoed at Gen Con 2024. I tried the demo, I loved it, I bought a copy of the game, and then my kids also loved it, so every evening at the hotel we were playing it more. So basically I played it with 3 players, and I just love this game. Sorry for spoiling the conclusions here. In the game, yes, we're gonna make a charcuterie plate, and the game mechanic that we're going to use is I cut, you choose. Each player will receive a card, well 2 and you choose 1 at the beginning of the game, and these are unique scoring conditions, and when you choose 1 you simply place it secretly. At the end of the game we will reveal what everybody has there and we'll score that. Then we have a display for the 6 main scoring conditions, 1 in each 6 categories that you have in each game. And so we're gonna score for cold cuts, for bread, for cheese, for crudité, for dip, and for fruit. Yeah, fruit, that's the one thing I'm not sure I really understand in real life charcuterie boards. I guess I haven't really learned to appreciate that. So for each of these 6 categories, you're going to have 6 cards. You choose 1 randomly, or you choose 1 that you want at the beginning of the game. So you're going to have variety of what scores, and yeah, not so much what scores. It's always those categories, but definitely how. Each player will have their own personal board on which they will prepare their charcuterie, and then we have this central board here. It is used as the score track at the end of the game, and you will do this a lot. That's my one complaint about the game. These crumbs here, the urge to try to clean them from the board is almost impossible to control. But you're gonna use this side of the board during the game itself. It also tells you how many stacks with how many tiles you're gonna have in each game. For example, 3 players, which is again how I played it, you're gonna have each turn 3 stacks of 4 tiles each. And then you have a bag of these really nice, cool looking cardboard tiles representing things that may go on the charcuterie board. So players will take turns being the host, and that's when you prepare the board that will be used by yourself and by the other charcuterie designers. So with 3 players, we're gonna draw 12 tiles, and the host is gonna divide them into 3 stacks of 4 each. And suppose that's how they look, more or less, after drawing. There you go, and more. I cut, you choose. As we know, that means that after I, the host, have prepared this, next player will take a group, another player will take another group, and when the board goes back to me, then I got my own group of tiles, and you can just place them there for now. It's a tile laying game, but the position, the location of your tiles is not committed until the end of the game. So you can keep moving them around any way you want. It's just that at the end of the game, they will all need to be on the board. They cannot be hanging out. Depending on the number of players, you have to keep them inside that frame, but not always, not necessarily. They need to be adjacent very often to score. Another important thing, the tiles need to be touching the board somehow. They cannot be completely sitting on top of other things because that looks weird. And so as the game progresses, your board will become increasingly more complicated. You're trying to form groups that will have certain patterns, that will have certain combinations of things. A group is defined quite intuitively as a number of tiles touching each other, and also the definition of adjacent is pretty self-explanatory, so everything is quite simple that way. I haven't even looked at the victory conditions. I'm just making kind of like a random things. And so you're gonna have things that score because of their touching adjacent to one another. You may have unique things, for example, a group with unique cheese, maybe variety of fruit everywhere, doesn't matter where, veggies touching other stuff. So how the game plays out and what kind of patterns and combinations you're going to create entirely depends on the scoring conditions, but whatever it is, the game will look increasingly nice as you play the game, and you're simply trying to follow the rules, not to make something that looks cool. It will look cool. The game looks cool, and I don't mind games that look pretty, both on the level of individual components and on the level of the composition of how things look after you have arranged them on the board, in the playing area. I could probably eat that charcuterie plate. And so many more of the ones that you can make with this game. So that's the idea. You play and you arrange tiles on your board, and at the end of the game, we're gonna score them. At the end of the game, when everybody will have a nice looking charcuterie board, then we go through all of these victory conditions, so we keep track of the score on this board. We also score the secret unique conditions, those also are placed on this board, and the player with the highest score wins the game. I like Charcuterie. I like it a lot. I think it's a great game. It looks great. The tiles are nice. They look great. They're pretty sturdy. And again, look at the aesthetics. When it comes to the aesthetics, this game is really exceptional to me. And gameplay, because of course ultimately the gameplay is the thing, it's great as well. This to me is the perfect light game. A perfect light game is one that sets up quickly, and basically all you have to do is to take out the components, select 6 cards, give these cards to a player. These are already in the bag. Super simple, super quick to set up. I cut you choose, and that's the idea. Again, you can teach in a couple of minutes. And he plays nice, he plays well. Still with a lot of interesting decisions. How to organize your charcuterie, of course, your board is part of it, and that's super important. How to make sure that the groups, do these need to be adjacent, do they not? Am I gonna destroy a group by mixing it in with another one, depending on the victory conditions? So, it's simple and cute to actually, form these groups. And there's also interaction, which is, of course, however, indirect. Maybe I want to prevent another player from achieving a certain pattern that will make them jump ahead in points in a certain category. But it's not confrontation. I'm not taking away stuff from other players. That is too old school for my taste these days. I'm taking away opportunities. So both if I'm the host, as I set up the different groups, and then when I'm not the host, I am taking tiles. I may decide to take a certain group because I don't want other players to have it, but then I still have to deal with those. I still have to make them work for me. A lot of interesting little decisions like that around a game engine, which to me is like the most minimalistic that you can have. I can't imagine a most minimalistic implementation of the I cut, you choose game mechanic that still feels like a game and still is fun to play. I already played this game quite a bit with my kids. We love it. I think this is going to be a hit at game night, especially as a second game of the night. When people play something big, they still want to play something before the night is over. And then you're looking for something quick to set up, easy to teach, that plays without too many little tiny rules. And then Charcuterie is a perfect example of that. It can be a great gateway game because you can really play with anybody, no matter how casual they are. No matter if they don't know how to read, you could play with a young child as long as you teach them what the victory conditions are. You could do that. That's at least how I played with one of my kids. Back in the day, I would just tell them the rules of the cards on King of Tokyo, and they can still play the game. Charcuterie, the board game, no doubt is a super simple, super light, but to me, there's strength in this idea of a very simple, minimalistic game that is still a lot of fun to play and also looks great on the table.